Hi friends, the concept of today's video is that we're going to take you through our first trip through Kickapoo Valley Reserve. We're going to be on our bikes. A special thank you to Andrea and to Babu, who provided us with hand-me-down bikes when we got back from Hawaii.
And thank you, Nana, for my bike.
I should tell the quick story of my bike. My favorite bike that I love so much that I shipped it over to Hawaii. And we met a young gentleman in Waipio Valley, which is literally one of the most beautiful places in the world. And people live down there. There's really no electricity or other facilities. And he was living down there in paradise, but he was walking everywhere, which he said is fine, but he was just wishing for a bike. We knew we were coming back. I knew I didn't want to try to pay for shipping that thing again, so we gave it to him. And now my bike lives in Waipio Valley. So we're going to be heading down here, seeing what we see, and then hopefully we'll be seeing some future adventures that we can take all of you on with us. So you'll get the first taste as we get the first taste. You having fun, Liliana?
Yeah.
Cattails? Mirabelle's talking about getting a horse. She really wants a horse. There's these little paths going off to the side, which we'll have to explore on foot. Just doing biking today so we can get kind of a broad brush view of things. Awesome wetlands. Canada geese. This is nannyberry, one of our, well, your favorite
Tastes like a
berry.
oatmeal raisin cookie, but condensed into some kind of amazing fruit leather.
Yeah, with the wetlands, that brings a whole host of different, well, flora and fauna that you don't find up in the highlands. Of course, Liliana is finding little friends everywhere you go. There's a lot of land to explore.
Is that all Kickapoo?
It's all Kickapoo. So it's all, everything inside this valley for many miles up. All right, so this is the nannyberry close up. They look like little shriveled raisins.
Here's a fresh
almost.
one. Or
One's
more
a little
fresh
bit fresher.
one. Yep.
But even when they're shriveled up, even during the winter, they, I guess you described them pretty well,
Sorry, I'm
didn't
going to spit on camera here.
you?
So that's the seed.
This is the way we ID a lot of plants
Kind of almost like a watermelon seed.
by the seed, yeah.
Yeah.
And this has a pretty unmistakable flat seed. Sumac is a special friend. You might have seen one of our earliest videos was on sumac lemonade. Those upright little, well, they look like fuzzy berries almost. Those are covered in hairs that are all coated with an acid that is very tart, yes. Quite delicious.
Can I have one?
Sure.
That's why they're good for lemonade. I didn't know that it was the hairs that had them.
See if it has any flavor. See if it has any flavor. It may not at this point. Oh, it does.
Yes, it does. Are they wet then? Can you see the wetness on them?
No, not really. Unless you look. But if I just lick my finger now,
The tart.
it's tart.
Yeah. I think people also dry and like, powder the berries for, what's that called? Like za'atar. And it's a Middle Eastern spice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yum.
You can probably see the crests of these high hills with the ridges that go down in between them. And that land is all part of the reserve. And there are some horse paths and such that wind through part of it. But a lot of it is just land. I don't know if you can see it. I see a giant pine up on there. So that's the kind of places that make me really excited, especially for winter explorations. Because in the winter, as the trees are gone, all those, you see the bones of the hills because it's mostly deciduous here. So you'll see the bones of the hills, and I can tell, and you might not be able to with the camera, there's some really steep edges up there, which probably have cliffs and maybe even caves. So my friends, we have a red cedar here, different than the white cedar. And this is one of Liliana's favorite foods because of what comes off of here that many people may have heard of, Liliana.
Juniper berries.
Juniper berries. There's an old legend about the juniper berries. Do you know what it is, Liliana?
No.
If you do?
If you keep it in your pocket, you'll get good luck?
Not quite. If you carry 3 juniper berries in your pocket, you can
Walk through the forest without fear.
walk through the forest without fear.
Drink from the streams without harm.
Drink from the
Ride
streams without
the wind.
harm and ride the wind. Oh my gosh.
3 juniper berries. 1,
Got a
2,
pocket.
3.
Awesome.
Got 3 in my pocket.
All right, let's ride the wind. All right, you can see that white. This is our first actual sighting of some cliffs. Now that's the kind of thing that really gets me excited and begs for a family adventure to try to go from here, cut through, navigate our way up, and find those cliffs if possible. Hopefully you can be excited about some of these adventures with us. And then as the autumn and the winter come, we will try to get out and explore some of them. We're searching every oak we can find right now, especially white oaks or bur oaks, and looking at the base. The girls have already been in here, looking for maitake, or hen of the woods. Possibly the best mushroom in the world. And when you find it, it comes in really big clusters that make for a lot of food. This is a memorial to many of the settlers that were down in this valley. And we have a good friend who's a forager, and she was saying when she's foraging back in some of these places, she finds old ruins of old settlements. So that's another fun thing to find that hopefully we'll run into a couple of those in our adventures. Okay, you've just found the hugest nanny berry. Can I see one of those? Whoa!
First, you still have
Berries
one. This is a squished
in
one.
the world.
Come on.
Awesome.
No, it's okay. You have it.
We
Is
need
it
to taste it.
Mm.
A lot of dead elms out here. These dead elms in the spring are a prime place to look for morels. Another thing that often enchants me are these bowls. So you can see there's its own little environment in there. Sometimes those are really magical places. We've got bone set. Look at the leaves there. And if your eyes are really good, you might notice something else in this video. They found something back here. Does anybody know what these are? Get them a little bit closer up. What do we have here?
Rose hips.
Rose hips. Liliana just found, anybody? Wild asparagus, tribute to Yule Gibbons. One of the people that really got foraging to be on people's minds. Ooh, they found more nanny berries.
Gosh, you guys, do you see that?
What?
Right there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. You've got to look. I'm throwing a fit because you've got to look.
Oh, all those nanny berries?
Dad, I need to get on your shoulders.
All right, let's do it.
Yes. You have me?
I'll get on my shoulder. So I'm going to grab your thighs.
Just the other one.
What are you doing, Mirabelle?
Getting the nanny.
Getting the nanny berries.
The whole clump. Let me see. Okay, here they are. Got him?
Yes. Well, you want some?
I'm so excited I nearly swallowed the seed.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so good.
Can we plant some more around here?
You want more?
You gonna plant them? Yeah, just spit them out on the side.
I'm gonna show them.
These are really sweet and tasty.
Good ones?
Well, you want some?
Sure.
Your hair's all wild now.
Well, this is pretty amazing for us, thinking about foraging, especially next year as we have the whole stretch from spring on. Just in one little glimpse here, we've got the nanny berries up above, we've got evening primrose, there's grapes, and there's this asparagus. The oaks up there give acorns. And down here, something you would not want to eat. This is hemlock. This is one of the deadliest plants in North America. A good one to be able to recognize because you do not want to be eating it. One of the ways to ID this is to notice that for a lot of plants, the veins go out to the points. And here, the veins go out to the valleys. Focus, please. Thank you. There's a typical example in grape where the veins tend to go out to the points. We see it again in maple. Oh, there's the grapes. How are they? Sour?
What, Mama?
And right over here, Solomon's Plume,
That's one of my favorite things.
one of Mirabelle's favorites. This plant looks a lot like Solomon's Seal, but instead of dark berries dangling on the bottom, here's the berries. When they're not ripe, they have this beautiful mottled pattern, and you still see it a little bit in that one. But then they get these red berries that, well, they have a remarkable flavor. Boy, wood sorrel.
They have a plastic inside. That's their seed.
Yeah.
It's like a little pellet.
Looks like a plastic pellet. That's another good way to ID them. What's it taste like, Mirabelle?
Mom, there's some nanny berries. Wait, I'm trying to think.
If I say molasses,
They need to be a little riper.
Mom, here. I just found some more. Maybe. I just found some more
Maybe?
nanny berries.
Do you know what they need is
More
they
nanny
need, they
berries.
need the frost. Like a first real cold.
That's great.
yeah,
yeah,
they're
watch
really
out
good
for
after that
poison
first
ivy.
frost.
Kind of black licorice.
Black licorice? Yeah, definitely kind of a black licorice flavor. Oh, this is one of my favorites too. It's really just a trailside kind of nibble. I think after a while, if you eat too many, it starts to take on a bitter flavor. So it's more something that you just eat in small amounts.
It actually changed into sweet from bitter.
Yeah? All right. Happy, Rebecca?
I'm gonna have bear poop tonight.
5-leaf clover.
No way.
No.
How do you do this,
Let
Liliana?
me see if this is real. Lily.
Mirabelle found a dead goose.
What?
Wonder how that happened. Oh, so much to explore. Oh, a fun thing to remember is that this is all going to be walkway and tracking grounds before too long. As soon as it freezes over. We won't be exploring this today, but sometimes we'll see trees like these guys that are not a native expected species. And that can be a sign that there's a settlement back there, old ruins, because somebody would have planted those somewhere along the line. So learning what trees are native to your area, if you're going into areas with old settlements, can really help you to sometimes find those ruins. This is Jack in the Pulpit. And it has these startling berries. Look at those. And these berries have kind of a fun story behind them because they are filled with all these little microscopic crystals that if you put it into your mouth, you're going to have an experience that's very much like a hot pepper, but can be pretty intense. And all those little crystals can lodge in your tongue, in your throat. It's considered, those berries are considered essentially toxic for that reason, because there's this physical reaction that you'll have that can make your throat swell up. But the story is that kids way back in the day, little boys, would sometimes have these dares to eat one of the berries, and then you would, pass whatever test it was. And it's extremely spicy. So, goated on by that story, I have tasted a few of them at times, and just been careful to keep it in the front of my mouth. But it is a very intense sensation that, again, is like hot pepper, but different. Okay, this is a really cool tower that they built a long time ago to be part of a dam. And I want to see what the girls look like when they see it for the first time. Hey, what do you girls have?
Giant grass.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that thing's cool. Doesn't it look like a medieval tower or something from some other time? Castle, fortress. Wow, look at that.
That's a little plant.
I'm not entirely sure what that is.
That's so cool. Looks like a garage back here. Oh, we gotta climb it.
All right, everybody have a good time?
Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
That's amazing.
And hints of many adventures to come.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
I want to hear what adventures you're having right now.
Yeah.
Any kind of adventures or things you're discovering, plants you're learning,
Fun things you're doing.
especially outside.
Yeah.
ooh.
Thank you for joining us. We're going to take you on the next one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.